إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أما بعد إخوتي وأخواتي في الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we'll continue the explanation of the book Al-Risala by Al-Imam Ibn Abi Zayd Al-Qayrawani rahimahullah ta'ala. Still on Al-Fara'id, the science of inheritance. The Shaykh rahimahullah ta'ala continues. He says, فميراث الزوج من الزوجة إن لم تترك ولدا ولا ولد ابن النصف. The inheritance of the husband when the inheritance of the husband from his wife, that is, a man loses his wife and this woman leaves behind some things that can be inherited. What is going to be the share of this man from the bequest of his wife? This is what the author rahimahullah ta'ala is trying to explain here. فَمِيرَاثُ الزَّوْجِ, the inheritance of the man, that is the husband, مِنَ الزَّوْجَةِ, from the wife, that is his own wife, when she dies, إِن لَمْ تَتُرْكُ وَلَدًا, if the wife does not leave behind a wife, وَلَا وَلَدَ إِبْنٍ, nor a grandson, nor a grandson or a granddaughter from a son, is a nisfu, is half. Is half. Now the scholars of Al-Faraid, they have different ways of explaining the inheritance of the deceased. One of the ways is to mention those who are to inherit. Those who are to inherit. If you remember, the Sheikh mentioned those who inherit among the men. He said there are 10. And when he got to the women, he said there are how many? 7. So it's either you are mentioning each person and you are mentioning what will be the inheritance of such a person, or you mention the shares that we have. You mention, for instance, an-nisfu, ar-rubu', you mentioned as-thumun, you mentioned thuluth, thuluthani, sudus. You mention all this, and you mention those who will inherit them. How many people who inherit thuluth? Who are those that can inherit thuluth, a third? Who are those that will inherit nisf, half? You start mentioning them. So this is what, by mentioning the shares that are available, then you start mentioning those who inherit. Take for instance, somebody says, okay, let's pick nisfu, half. Who are those who inherit half? If you start mentioning, you say what? The daughter who inherit half. Then you say what? The sister who inherit what? The full sister who inherit half. So you start what? Mentioning things like that. This at times may be somehow difficult for people to memorize. But when you mention each person, okay, the daughter, what will be the inheritance of the daughter? When is the daughter going to inherit half? When is the daughter going to inherit less than that? So you pick each person and you try to know the inheritance of such a person. This is what is easier. This is another way of presenting the matter. So the method that the author has used here is to mention each person, and he will talk about the inheritance of such a person. When the person is going to inherit so and so, when he's going to inherit so and so. And this is the way of the Quran. This is the way the Quran presents it. So it is easy to memorize this way. The other way, scholars, they also make use of it. So the author, rahimahullah ta'ala, says, فَمِرَاثُ الزَّوْجِ, it starts with the inheritance of the husband. The husband is going to inherit from his wife. The inheritance of the husband from his wife, if the wife dies, and the wife does not leave waladan, a child. The wife does not leave a child. The author uses the word walad. When we say walad, in the Arabic language, walad means a child, not necessarily made child. But in the usage now, and the custom, they use walad to refer to a male child. So you say bintu for a female child. But in the Arabic language, walad means a child. So if it is male, you say what? Ibnu. And if it is a female, you say what? Bintu. I hope it is clear. So when the author says here, the wife does not leave behind a child. The wife does not leave behind a child, whether male or female. He said, is what? An nisfu, is half. The husband is going to inherit half of the property of the wife. When the wife dies without leaving an issue, she doesn't leave any child. Now the child, is it a must that the child must be from the husband? That is the present husband, or it can be from the previous husband. Maybe a woman was married to a man before, and she had a child for that man. Later, maybe the man died, or they were divorced. They were separated. And that woman remarried another man. Maybe she has not born any child. She has not born that man any child, the new husband. For the fact that she has a child somewhere before she marries that new husband, the new husband will be the one to inherit her. The old husband cannot inherit her because their relationship has been brought to an end. So it is the new husband that will inherit her. But the new husband cannot inherit half of her property. Why? Because she already has what? A child. Whether male or female. she has a child. I hope this is clear. Now, if you look at it, the man says, the sheikh says, Wala walada ibnin. Wala walada ibnin. Why walad wa ibn? We say ibn is what? Male child. Walad is what? Child. And not child of a son. That is, if the woman dies and she leaves behind, apart from her husband, she leaves behind a grandson, a grandchild, from a male son, A grandchild from a grandchild from a male son is what? Is one's son or one's child. Exactly. Your own child. A grandchild from a male son is what? Is your child. Whether male or female. Are you with me? Because that child is connected to you through a son. If the child were to be connected to you through a daughter, that is no more your own child, not your grandchild. When we are talking about what? The issue of inheritance. Yes, they may say what? Your grandchild. Just as the Prophet ﷺ said to Al-Hassan that Ibni Hada Sayyidun. Ibni Hada Sayyidun. This my son is Sayyid. Calling Hassan is Ibn. And Hassan is what? The son of Fatima radiallahu anha. And Fatima radiallahu anha, the daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Messenger of Allah called Al-Hassan his son. But when we talk about the issue of inheritance, or the way people see it, so they won't say that the child of your the child of your daughter is your child. Rather, it will be the child of the father. I hope it is clear. What I'm trying to say in essence is that you have a daughter. You have a daughter. The daughter can inherit you. But the child of your daughter cannot inherit you. Because that child is connected to you through a female. Through a female. So that child cannot inherit you. Because it's connected to you through a female. Except in some cases. That is, the principle is that somebody who is connected to you through a female cannot inherit you. Except in the case of who can tell us? When can somebody who is connected to you, who is related to you through a female, when can such a person inherit you? That is, this somebody connected to you through a female cannot inherit you. Principle. But there is what? There are exceptions. One of the exceptions is your half-brother, maternal half-brother, is connected to you through the mother, but he can inherit you. Likewise, maybe your grandmother is connected to you through your mother. He may inherit you in the absence of your mother. We are still coming to that. What I'm trying to say is that the author mentions Walada Ibni, the child of a son. The child of a son. Please let us take note of that. The child of a son is like your son. I mentioned something last week. Somebody has a son and he has a grandson. He has a son and he has a grandson. Both of them are alive and that person dies. Can the grandson inherit? Why? Because one is asbak. No, not necessarily that person is father. It may not be his father, maybe his uncle. Are you with me? Somebody has a son. He has a son, and that son, or maybe another son of that same person, has another son. That means a grandson. That grandson, can he inherit with the presence of any of the two immediate sons? No. They will block him. We are not saying he is not the son of that person. He is a son, but it's not. There are people who are what? Who are asked back. Or we say what? Who are akrab. Those who are what? Closer. But they all share what? Sonship, so to say. But one is what? Is closer to the deceased than the other. But let's assume that the immediate son is not alive. It is the grandson that is alive. The grandson will come watch and stay in the place of the immediate son. I hope this is clear. So let's go back to the inheritance of the husband. Don't mix it up. We are not talking about the father, the husband. So we are talking about the inheritance of a husband, meaning what? The wife dies. The wife dies. So the Shaykh Rahimahullah Ta'ala says the time the husband will inherit half of the property of the wife is when the wife does not have what? A child. Whether immediate child or what? Grandchild. But when you are talking about the grandchild, is the grandchild from a male son, not a female son. The grandchild from a female son does not have the right to inherit the grandfather or the grandmother. I hope it is clear, because it's connected to the deceased through a female. And the principle that somebody is related to a deceased through a female does not inherit that person, except those cases that I mentioned. Now, فَإِنْ تَرَكَتْ وَلَدًا, if the wife, tarakat, if she leaves behind waladan, a child, أو ولد ابن minhu, or a grandchild from a male son, minhu, from the man, minhu, from the man, أو من غيره, or from another husband, maybe a previous husband. فَلَهُ الرُّبْعُ, فَلَهُ الرُّبْعُ, the man is going to take 1/4. He's going to take 1/4 of the inheritance. What is the evidence of this that the Sheikh has said here? This can be found in the Quran, in Surah An-Nisa, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَكُمْ نِصْفُ مَا تَرَكَ أَزْوَاجُكُمْ, وَلَكُمْ نِصْفُ مَا تَرَكَ أَزْوَاجُكُمْ. You are to inherit half of what your wives leave behind. إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُنَّ وَلَدٍ, if they do not have child. فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُنَّ وَلَدٌ, if they have child, فَلَكُمُ الرُّبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكْنَا, you are going to inherit 1/4 of what they leave behind. Is it clear or not? Is it clear? Simple. The husband will inherit half of the property of the woman if the woman does not leave a child. When we say child, it includes grandchild from a male son or from a son, from a male child. Are you with me? Regardless of whether the child that is left behind, if it's what? Direct child, is a male or female. But if it's a grandchild, it must be what? It must be through a male, not through a female child. Are you with me? Is it clear? So in the absence of this, if these children are not available, the share of the man, the share of the husband increases. Increases. If they are available, it is what? 1/4. It decreases. But if they are not available, it increases. Can the husband inherit more than that? No. Simple. So it's something you can just memorize. At times, half of the property. At times, 1/4 of the property. When half of the property? When there are no child or children. Where there are no children. When will it be 1/4? When there are children or there is a child. Is it clear? Simple. So the method that the author is using is what just following the method of the Quran, which is easier for people to memorize. I hope that is clear. Then the Shaykh continues. He said, "Watarithu hiya minhu." She will inherit the man. Ar-rubu'a. She will inherit what? 1/4. In lam yakun lahu waladun. In lam yakun lahu waladun. If the man does not have a child. If the man does not have a child, she will inherit what? 1/4. Wala waladu ibnin minha. Or waladu ibnin minha min ghayriha. Or a child from a male child. That is a grandchild from a male child. Either through her or through another wife. A man has 2 wives. And he dies. One of the 2 wives has died before the death of the man. Are you with me? Meaning, but that one that has died had a child for the man. At the time of the death of the man, the second wife with him does not have a child. Does the man have a child?
Yes.
From the living wife or from the dead one? Now, if you want to share the bequest of the man, the wife that is still alive, what's she going to take? Rubber. Rubber? Someone. She's going to take 1/8. Why? Because there is a child. Yes, she's not the one that bear the man the child, that bore the man the child, the other wife. But what matters to us is that does the man have what? A child? Whether from her or from another woman. Just as in the first case, what matters to us is what? Does she have what? A child? Whether from him or from a previous marriage. So what we look at is what? Does the man have a child? Does the woman have what? A child? If the man has a child, that it decreases the inheritance of the woman. If the woman has a child, it decreases the inheritance of the man. Is that clear? Now let us look at this. We have what? Half. Then in the absence, in the presence of child, we say what? The half will be reduced to what? Rubber. That is for who? For the man. Half and what? And rubber. 1/2 and 1/4. What is the relationship? So 1/4 is half of 1/2. Now let us go this way. The woman, if there is no child for the man, she has what? 1/4. If there is child for the man, what is the relationship between 1/4 and 1/8? Half. So this is what Islam, لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ أَخْذِ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. In most cases, except in rare cases, in some cases, but most cases, the man will be taking 2 of what the woman takes. In most cases, this we have seen this now in the case of the husband and wife. We have seen that in the case of the husband and the wife. So I hope this is clear. So if they ask you now, what will be the inheritance of the woman? You say what? 1/4 or 1/8? 1/4 if the man has a child. 1/8 1/4 if the man does not have a child. 1/8 if he has a child. When we say has a child, at times it may mean what? The grandchild, but from the male child, not from the female child. Is that clear? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the evidence for that, Allah says, وَلَهُنَّ الرُّبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ وَلَهُنَّ الرُّبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ. For them is 1/4 of what you leave behind. إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لَكُمْ وَلَدٌ, if you do not have a child. فَإِنْ كَانَ لَكُمْ وَلَدٌ, if you have a child, فَلَهُنَّ ثُمُنْ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ. Then they are going to inherit 1/8 of what you have left. مِنْ بَعْدِ وَصِيَّةٍ تُوصُونَ بِهَا أَوْ دَيْنٍ, after the wasiyah, that is, wasiyah? Wasiyah is a will that you have written down. Maybe you want to give somebody, want to do a sadaqah. You now say, this sadaqah after my death should be implemented. The sadaqah that you do, that you want it implemented, for instance, after your death, is called what? Wasiyah. It's called wasiyah. It is sadaqah, but it is what? Wasiyah. Why is it called wasiyah? Because it will be implemented after your death. If it's something that will be implemented while you are alive, is what? Is ordinary sadaqah. But if it's something that can last long, it is called what? Waqfu. It is called waqfu. If it's something that can last long. But if it's not something that will last long, it may be what? Ordinary sadaqah. If it is to be implemented after your death, this will be what? Wasiyah. Min ba'di wasiyatin tusuna biha aw daynin. Min ba'di wasiyatin tusuna biha aw daynin. In the case of the women, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what? Min ba'di wasiyatin yusina biha aw daynin. After you have what? Taken away the wasiyah. And don't forget, in Islam, the wasiyah must not be more than 1/3. Where did they get that? Based on what Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas of the La'an. Al-thuluth wa thuluth kathir. Al-thuluth wa thuluth kathir. So it must not be more than 1/3 of the bequest. So if it is more than 1/3 of the bequest, it will be reduced to 1/3. It will be reduced to 1/3. Unless if the heirs, those who are to inherit the deceased, they all agree that it should be given out. But if they do not agree to that, any sadaqah that one wants to do that is more than what 1/3 of the property will be reduced to 1/3. How it is clear. So that is the evidence for that. The author continues. وميراث الأم من ابنها الثلث. وميراث الأم من ابنها الثلث. The inheritance of the mother, not the wife now, mother. Meaning you are talking about what? Child now. وَمِيرَاثُ الْأُمِّ مِنْ إِبْنِهَا. The inheritance of the mother from her son, الثُّلُث, is 1/3. إِنْ لَمْ يَتْرُكْ وَلَدًا أَوْ وَلَدَ إِبْنٍ. If it does not leave behind a child or a grandchild from a male child, a grandchild from a male child. Are you with me? Now, a woman or a man dies, and that person leaves behind his mother. What will be the inheritance of the mother? The inheritance of the mother is 1/3, on condition that there is no any child. On condition that there is no any child. Meaning, if there is a child of the deceased, the mother cannot inherit 1/3. Rather, she will inherit 1/60. She will inherit 1/60. Is that clear? Or with the presence of what's it called? The presence of a half brother, a maternal half brother, or exactly half brother. They can be paternal or maternal. In this case now, not paternal. Are you with me? Now, with the presence of what? Maybe a maternal or even paternal with their presence. So, this will be reduced to 1/6 as well. So, and this is what the author is saying here, that Awalada Ibnin, or the grandson or grandchild, or ithnain min al-ikhwa, or 2 among the brothers, ma kanu fasa'idan, or more, illa fi faridatain, except in 2 faridah. Fama illa fi faridatain, fi zawjatin wa abawain, fa li zawjati rubu wa lil ummi thuluthu ma baqiya. Now, if you go back to the Quran, what the author is trying to explain will be clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِن كَانَ رَجُلٌ If there is a man, يُرَثُ كَلَالَةً, that is being inherited, kalalatan. What is kalala? Kalala means somebody without father, nor child. Huh? No father, nor child. That's kalala. Somebody dies. There is no father, no child. Or imura'atun, or a woman. If a woman dies, no father, no child. Walau akhun aw ukhtun, but he or she has a brother. Walau akhun aw ukhtun, falikulli wahidin minhuma as-sudus. Each one of them is going to inherit 1/60. فَإِنْ كَانُوا أَكْثَرَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ, if they are more than that, فَهُمْ شُرَكَاء فِي الثُّلُثِ, they are going to share 1/60. So 1/3. مِنْ بَعْدِ وَصِيَّةٍ يُوصَى بِهَا أَوْ دَيْنٍ غَيْرَ مُضَارٍ. Sorry. Let's go back. That is on the Ikhwa Li'um. The one that has to do with this is the verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُوصِيكُمُ اللَّهُ فِي أَوْلَادِكُمْ لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ هَذِهِ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Not yet. فَإِنْ كُنَّ نِسَاءً فَوْقَ اثْنَتَيْنِ فَلَهُنَّ ثُلُثَا مَا تَرَكَ وإن كانت واحدة فلا النصف ولأبوي لكل واحد منهما السدس. This is where I'm going. وإن كانت واحدة, that is if the daughter is just one, فلا النصف, she's going to inherit half. We are not talking about the inheritance of the daughter now. We are talking about the inheritance of the mother. Wali abawayhi, the two father of the deceased. Likulli wahidin minhuma as-sudus. Each one of them is going to inherit 1/6 mimma taraka, of what he has left. In kana lahu waladun, if there is what? A child. فَإِنْ لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ وَلَدٌ, if there is no child, وَوَارِثَهُ أَبَوَاهُ, and the two parents were to inherit him, فَلِأُمِّهِ الثُّلُث. فَلِأُمِّهِ الثُّلُث. The mother is going to take what? So let's go back. When is the mother going to take 1/6? When there is a child. When is the mother going to take 1/3? When there is no child. Okay? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَةٌ فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَةٌ. What does that mean? فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَةٌ. That lahu is going back to deceased. فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَةٌ, if he, the deceased, has brothers, فَلِأُمِّ السُّدُسُ, the mother is going to take what? 1/6. Just like when there is a child. مِنْ بَعْدِ وَصِيَّةٍ يُوصِي بِهَا أَوْ دَيْنٍ. مِنْ بَعْدِ وَصِيَّةٍ يُوصِي بِهَا أَوْ دَيْنٍ. After the wasiyah that the man has done, or dain, the debt. There's a difference between the two. Debt is what you are owing people. Wasiyah, what will be what? Kind of sadaqah. I hope it is clear. Or it's not clear? It's clear. So if this brother that is being talked about here is what? General. Huh? Allah says, Aba'ukum wa abna'ukum, your parents and your children, la tadruna ayyum aqrab lakum naf'an. You don't know those that are closer to you in terms of benefits. Faridatan min Allah. This is faridah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna Allah kana aliman hakima. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-knowing, all-wise. So let's look at what the author says here. Wa mirathul the inheritance of the mother, min ibniha, from a son, is what? A thuluth, 1/3. In lam yatruk waladan, if he doesn't leave behind a child. Awala the evening, or a grandchild from a male child. Aw ithnain al ikhwa, or two out of what? Out of the brothers. Ma kanu fasa'idan, or more. Illa fi faridatain, except in two farida. In two what? Farida. What is farida here? Share. You now mention them. Fi zawjatin wa abawainin. Fi zawjatin wa abawain. Now this case is different. Somebody dies and he leaves behind the two parents, and he leaves behind a wife. What is going to be the share of the What is going to be the share of the mother? Thuluth. Why did you say thuluth? If you say thuluth al-baki, why? If you say thuluth, why do you say thuluth?
After the share of
No. Let's start the share of the mother. What you have learned is what? Either 1/3 or 1/6. 1/3 in the absence of what? Child and or what? Of two brothers. Huh? Now, what's it called? 1/6 in the presence of child or brother. Now we have this case now. A wife and the parents, the two parents. What is going to be the share of the mother? Why are you saying thuluthul back? Where did you get your thuluthul back? 1/3. Okay, 1/3. Now, what about the father? You said asoba. Where did you get the asoba? Okay, what is the inheritance of the wife? Oh, 1/4. 1/4? That's the wife. Why are you giving the wife 1/4? No child. No child. Okay. 1/4 plus 1/3. What is that? Okay. Now, in this case, now the mother is taking what? 1/3, and the wife is taking 1/4. What is left? Huh? I mean, what is left? What is left is less than what you have shared. With this, even the mother is taking more than the father. In ordinary, the father has 1/6 before. If there is we are still going to that. I'm just mentioning this. If there is child. Now, in this case, now if there is child, now that is one of the shares of the father. But at times the father will take every remaining thing. If there is any asset, don't forget last week we mentioned asset, then we'll pack everything. So no male child here. So the father is supposed to be the asset. Now what will be left? Ordinarily, the father is supposed to to also take his own share. He's supposed to take his own share. And he's supposed to pack the remaining thing. So here, what is left is less. Is less. So and that's why when the scholars look at this, they said, okay, what will be done is for us to say the father is going to take what? The mother is going to take thuluthul baqi. Thuluthul al-baqi. 1/3 of what is left. 1/3 of what is left. You know, she's supposed to take 1/3. She's supposed to take 1/3. But if she takes that 1/3 immediately, that of the father will be less. So and the father is stronger. They are on the same level. Both of them are parents. So why is the mother going to take more than the father? And don't forget we have this issue of the zakari mithlu adil unthayayn. I hope it is clear. So and that's why when the scholars and the companions they looked at this, so they arrived at this that the brother mentioned, thuluthu al-baqi. That is 1/3 of what is left. So if the wife takes 1/4, so what will be left? 3/4. So what is the thuluthu of 3/4? Okay, that is what will be left? Half. Mathematicians. Okay, like this. If we say half plus 1/4, Huh? Plus 1 over 4. What do you have? Let me ask you again. What is the man taking? Sorry, the wife taking? 1 over 4. Okay. Now the woman is supposed to take what? 1/3. Are you with me?
No.
But now we are going to do it 1/3 of what is left. Not 1/3 of everything. 1/3 of what is left. So if she takes 1/3 of what is left, what will be 1/3 of what is left? 1 over 4. Huh? So what will be left then? Half. You've not gotten it. In solving things like this, scholars will resort to what is called al-awl. Or what al-awl is somebody what will reduce, will lose some things from what is supposed to. You are supposed to take half of the whole property, for instance, and somebody is also supposed to take half of the whole property. Another person is supposed to take what? 1/6 of the whole property. So if you take half of the property out of the property, where will the person that's supposed to take 1/6 get this? So they will say, okay, let us do R, and they resort to this LCM of the thing. They will resort to LCM. So what they get is what they will use what in getting the answer. So this is for the what? For the Isabiyun. There's a difference between Faradi. Faradi is somebody who will tell you 1/4, 1/3, 1 this, that is old. But Isabi is the one that will tell you how to calculate and what and arrive at this. Somebody may have knowledge of what Faraid, but is not good at what mathematics. He can tell you this is this. And somebody may be good at mathematics, but he doesn't know what as what. And a lot of scholars, they will gather books, they will combine books. They have knowledge of this, I have knowledge of this. So what will be left? So what they've tried to work out now is that the man is going to take twice what the woman takes, as you already know. So if the wife takes what? So like that, they will make the man take what? Make the father takes twice what the Thuluthul Baqi. Now this is what most scholars are upon. There are some scholars that said no. That the father has to take it like that. The woman is going to take what? 1/3 of everything. Huh? And what the wife will take 1/4. Then what is left, that is the father's share. Let him take it like that. But what most scholars are upon is that no. What we know is that the woman is going to take what? Thuluth. And she is what? On equal footing with the man. And the man is so able to ta'asib again. So how are we going to say the man is going to take less than the woman? So rather, let us make it Thuluthul Baqi. And that is why the author says, except fi faridatain, except in two shares. Fi zawjati wa abawaini, fali zawjati rubu. Are you with me? He said the zawja will take what? Rubu 1/4. Wa lil ummi thuluthu ma baki. The mother will take thuluthu ma baki. Wa ma bakiya lil abi. What is left to be for the father? And what is left to be what? Will be twice what is being taken by the mother. Wa fi zawjin wa abawaini. He said the other case is the case of zawjin, a husband, wa abawaini, and the parents. Now share it. A woman dies, she leaves behind a husband and just her 2 parents. She dies, she leaves behind a husband and what? Her 2 parents. From the little that you have learned, who can share it? The husband will take half. Why? Why is he taking half? No child. Okay. What about the mother? The mother is taking 1/3. The mother is taking 1/3. Why is she taking 1/3? No child. Now what will the father take? The remaining. The father will take what? The remaining. What is the remaining? So we are going to apply the same thing that we applied here. So it will what? The mother will not take what? The thuluth straight. She will take what? Thuluth back. Because she can't take more than the man. More than what? The father. They are what? On the same level. And what? He is a man. And they are on the same level. So if we are going to maintain our thuluth that Allah has mentioned in the Quran, so that will be what? Thuluth al-Baqi. Thuluth al-Baqi. The 1/3 of what is left. So what is 1/3 of what is left? 1/6. So that will be what? Then what will be left? 1/3. So 1/3 is twice what? 1/6. So the Zakari Mislu Adhi and Unthayayn. I hope it is clear. So they call it Thulthul Baqi. And that's why when we were talking last week that what are the shares? We said the shares, they are what? They are how many? 6. Some people say what? 7. Which one is the 7th one? We will say what? Thulthul Baqi. Some scholars say there is no need saying Thulthul Baqi. Say Thuluth is what? The Thuluth. Thuluth is what Allah mentioned in the Quran. But since everybody is what is dropping from your own this thing, that's why you are doing it that way. I hope it is clear. So that's why they say no Thuluthul Baqi. You call it what? Thuluth. But for the man to have what? More than the woman, that is the father to have more than the mother, that is why they say what? From it should be what? Thuluthu al-Baqi. It says wafi zawjin wa abawain, in the case of a father and a husband and the parents. Le zawjin is the husband will be taking half, walil ummi thulthu ma baqi, and the mother will be taking 1/3 of what is left. Wa ma baqiya lil ab, whatever is left is for the father, which will be what? Which will be 1/3. وَلَا فِي غَيْرِ ذَلِكَ الثُّلُث, and she will be taking in other than that thuluth. إِلَّا مَا نَقَصَهَا الْأَعُودِ, except what is reduced by al-aul. I said we are still going to talk about al-aul. Al-aul is when those who are supposed to take inheritance, when there are many, more than what is of ground. So meaning everybody is going to drop something from their shares. So this thing is called what? Al-aul. It's called al-aul. So this is one of the most difficult aspects of mirath. One of the most difficult aspects of mirath. So they tell you what are the shares the shares that will do aul. So maybe for instance 6 to 7, 8, 9, 10. Then they will tell you take for instance 12 to 13, 15, 17. So they will tell you 24 to 27. So this is what the aul that they are talking about. But inshallah we are still going to talk about it. Somebody who is good at mathematics, it will be easy for him to know this out, because it's something that is more of mathematics than just ordinary fard. It's more of mathematics. If you are good at mathematics, you're able to get this issue of out. And if you know LCM very well, it will be easy. So let me bring it down again. If you know LCM very well, it will be easy. For those who are not good in that, there is another method that scholars will use. Inshallah, when we get there, but it's something that is difficult. It's somehow confusing. But it is good that you have the knowledge of this. With this, you can talk about what the mother will inherit, what the father will inherit, what the wife the husband, what they will inherit. So you can talk about this. So it's very simple to get if you follow the Quran method. So Allahu alam. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد. What happens in a situation where the deceased has properties that no one knows about? And does Sharia encourage writing down of property to make sharing easier for those who leave behind? Okay, now good. What is the ongoing federal sovereign sukuk? Is it halal? The sukuk thing.
Now, as for somebody who has a property that is not known, so and it is good for one to make one's property known, to get it written down, so that when one is no more alive, the heirs will be able to know those things that they are going to share, and they will share it in accordance with the Sharia. Nobody has the right to claim any of the property from among the heirs. So that is that to sit on it. Once a man dies, so they will have to subject everything to the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well explained. So it's not something that somebody will say, I'm the eldest son, so sit on it. So this is what is wrong Islamically. Is wrong Islamically. So the one who is having the property should write the property down. It's good, so that the heirs will be able to identify the property after his death, and they will be able to share it in accordance with the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think the second question has been answered. Huh?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Now the third one is, what do you have to say about this sukuk? Is it halal?
Well, the sukuk, when some people called me asking me concerning it, I said maybe they should forward how it operates, because al-hukmu ala shay far'un an tasawwuri. When you want to pass judgment on something, you have to have knowledge of that thing before you pass a judgment. Otherwise, your judgment will be wrong and will be based on zulm, injustice. So the sukuk, I did not know how it operates. Let me put it that way. Now, some people send something to me, one from the focal point. Sorry, so I said for Lotus Capital, the other from Dr. Bashir. So, and when I went through the way it was presented, so if that is how it works, it is un-Islamic, it is riba. But if there are some things that are not clear, maybe that is not what they want to operate, then in that case it is good that we see the one that they want to use to operate, to know whether it is Islamic or not Islamic. So this is what I will say on it, pending the time that the details of that thing is clear. But that one that is being circulated around, like some people are just spreading it on the WhatsApp, that has Dr. Bashir's this thing. That one, it has a riba in it. It is 2 transactions in one. So it is ijara plus bill. And ijara and bill, they have 2 different rulings. This we have treated somehow if I lease this item to you, who will be the one to maintain it? Is it the owner or the lessee? The owner. If I sell something to you, who will be the one to maintain it? The buyer. So, and that's why you cannot say this thing, I'm selling it to you, at the same time, and what? I'm renting it to you, or I'm leasing it to you. You have to what? Maintain one. Now, if one is maintained, which is what? Lease. Okay, they are leasing it for 7 years, for instance. For 7 years. Now, after the 7 years, the issue of what? Purchase now comes in. Now, where the problem lies now is that can they strike the balance, the deal from inception, that this thing, I'm selling it to you, I'm leasing it to you, at the same time what? I'm selling it to you after 7 years. So the scholars, they say what? That thing is not binding. That agreement is not binding. Until they have concluded that of what? The lease. Until the lease contract is what? Is concluded. But can they promise? Yes, they can promise that, okay, this thing is what? It's leased for 7 years. It's leased for 7 years. But after 7 years, I will sell it to you. I will sell it to you. Compulsorily. Can they say that? Then the other party can say what? I will buy it compulsorily after 7 years. So this undertaking on both sides, is it binding? The Fiqh Academy under OIC, they said, if we say it is binding, we have gone back to what? 2 transactions in one. Just like when I tell you, for instance, now this is my daughter. I want to marry my daughter to you. Have I married my daughter to you with that? I'm marrying my daughter to you. Is she your wife yet? When is she going to be your wife? When you accept. So if I say I'm marrying my daughter to you, and you say what? You accept, then what? The contract is what? Is sealed. I'm marrying my daughter to you, I accept. The contract is sealed. So I'm going to sell this thing to you after 7 years. It's binding on me. I will sell it to you. And you say what? I'm also buying it. It's like what? You have concluded the transaction from what? The inception. And we say it's what? It's lease that you are doing. So for those of you who have that message, so to say, or that explanation, go and look at it. Secondly, it is in it that what? They are going to buy it with the with the minimum amount that the people used to subscribe. So if I tell you, for instance, that this thing is what is maybe come and do business with me, you invest with me with 100,000 naira, but your 100,000 naira is guaranteed. At least your 100,000 naira is what is guaranteed. Then you may make profit. Is it correct? Is riba. Your 100,000 naira must not be guaranteed. So at the end of what the lease period, I'm going to what buy this thing from you with what the amount with which you subscribe. That is, rest assured. Go and sleep. You are going to get what? At least the amount that what with which you subscribe. That is what? Riba. Based on what? That agreement of what? Mutual undertaking. How to display. So go and read it, you see. If there's another thing apart from this, wallahu a'lam. But with this, so it's not permissible, wallahu a'lam.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. So inshallah next week, a lot of questions, but we can't take them because of time.